Welcome to my extra saucy late Atlantic Division predictions. I blame it on two kids, obviously, right? So what I'm going to do here is a countdown ranking 8 up to number 1, where I think the teams in the Atlantic Division will finish at the end of the season. Now, I picked this order before the NHL schedule actually started, because we're about just about 2 weeks in now. Let's get started. The honors of number 8 and last in the division go to the Boston Bruins. Yes, I'm sorry to my many friends in the state of Massachusetts, but I don't think this should be too surprising. Side note, it's something about the Bruins and the Sabres that I always seem to get terribly wrong in these rankings, almost every year, because I've been doing this for a while, just so you know. The Hockey News also ranked them 8th, by the way, not that I'm proud of that. Then the forward group here, it's shallow after Pasta. Really? Yeah, newsflash, yeah. Can Elias Lindholm have a bounce back after his first year in Boston? Can Geekie put up the same kind of numbers again? Arvidsson, can he bounce back after a couple of slow seasons in both Edmonton and LA? Can Zacha regain some more of his form when he first started there? And Mittelstadt, I just, to me, he's like at best a 3C. But I guess that sort of reflects where the Bruins are and why we have them ranked, why I have them ranked here. And by we, I mean a lot of other people than just myself. So I'm not the only crazy person. Of course, they'll end up being second or so in a division. On defense, this looks great on paper, right? And especially with Lindholm back in the scene soon. I know Zadorov is off to a really hot start. Maybe he's finally found his footing there. And then the goalies, is Swayman back? Can Korpiusalo help out back there as well? I mean, they have the potential to be a great tandem, but we'll see. The X factor, I gotta say, it's a coach. What can Sturm do with this group? Number 7, the Buffalo Sabres. And the Hockey News ranked Buffalo 7th. No, they haven't influenced my decision-making in any way so far. Injuries at the moment. Josh Norris, poor guy. He just cannot stay out of the infirmary. It's unbelievable. He should be back in mid-December. Is Buffalo regretting this Cousins trade now? In any case, Kesslering should be back very soon. Same with UPL and Samuelson and Greenway. The forward group, with Norris's injury, they're just not that deep enough, especially down the middle. Like, thank God Thompson is playing back there. With Peterka gone, Thompson and Tuck just can't do this alone, right? On defense, I like it on paper when it's healthy. Can Power finally take another step there? Sometimes D take a little longer. We'll see. The goaltenders, even with UPL back and Alex Leon, it's such a question mark, right? It's just being consistent and getting to be good fast enough before they dig themselves into a big hole in the beginning of the season. Alex Leon is a bit of a wild card, but he has shown he can carry the mail for stretches at a time. What do I think is the X factor here? It's got to be the kids, right? I think if Buffalo's going to go anywhere, it's got to be with players like Benson and Doan and McLeod and Quinn, not to mention, some of the guys on defense who really got to take a step up. Because last year with Cousins, when I did this prediction video, I thought they would be close to a playoff spot. And they, of course, were obviously very not ready for that again. Number 6, the Detroit Red Wings. The Hockey News also has them ranked 6th. That's correct. Starting in the injury circle here, Raymond is day-to-day. Hopefully he'll be back soon. From the forward group, they finally look deeper to me, especially with the emergence of Casper at 2C. I know lately they've been burning it up, so, this ranking comes into question, maybe, just a little bit. Their D scares me. It does after Seider and Edvinsson anyway. They're a bunch of bottom pairing guys, mostly. And then the goaltending, Talbot and Gibson. Obviously, Gibson is a bit of a gamble. Talbot's up there in age. They can both get on the IR from time to time. If they can stay healthy enough, this ranking may look very dumb by the end of the season. The X factor. Can the defense not kill them? I think that's the biggest question mark here. And now that McLennan's starting his second season, what can he really do with this club? In the 5th spot, I've got the Florida Panthers. The Hockey News has them ranked first, which is a little perplexing, seeing as how they knew Tkachuk was going to be out until December. But whatever, injuries right now. Besides Tkachuk, they got Barkov, who could be out for the year. He's still on the IR as of this moment. Nosek should be back in December. And Kulikov apparently should be back sometime in November. 4 starting players out of their lineup. 2 in the top 6, and 1 of them a defenseman. Mind you, I believe the Panthers will still be able to steal that wildcard spot away from the Metro, so keep that in mind. The forward group, they're still decent considering. Can Lundell and Samskevich take a step forward? Can Verhaeghe rebound from last year? And how much offense can Brad Marchand provide in his twilight years here? On defense, they're pretty solid back there, although Kulikov will hurt a bit. In goal, is Bob still up for this at the age of 37? Is the boat going to start to teeter? And Tarasov, I never had that much confidence in him. I mean, he is young. He's only 26. But there's too many ifs with this guy. So far this season, he hasn't been good. The X Factor. Can they tread water at least until Tkachuk gets back in December? So far, it hasn't been looking good. Number 4, the Montreal Canadiens. The Hockey News has them ranked in 5th. Remember, side note, I picked these teams before the NHL schedule started. And right now, Montreal is one of the most exciting teams to watch. Injury-wise, last time I checked, they were healthy. The forward group, Demidov and Bulldog, make them very deep on the wing. But as usual, their center depth is still a big question mark there. On defense, just wow, right? With the emergence of Hudson and the arrival of Dobson, this might be the most mobile D in the NHL right now. And then there's Matheson. It's incredible. He used to be the number 1 power play guy, and now there's 2 guys in front of him. This group may be the best puck transporters in the league. If you wanted a nitpick, you could say, where are the defensive defensemen? Do they have enough of them? Goaltending. Montembeault should be better with this defense, right? At least in the win department. Dobies, or Dobes, however you pronounce it, looks like a very promising goaltender with so far very solid NHL numbers, albeit only being 24. The X factor here is, for me, the cap space. They have about around $5.5 million. Plus, they got a bunch of picks and prospects. They seem to be in a much better position for trade almost than any other team, especially if you consider them a playoff contender. In the 3rd spot, I've got the Ottawa Senators, which may really bite me in the butt, because it has so far. The Hockey News, by the way, has him ranked in 4th. Injury-wise, Brady Tkachuk is now out. I've heard anything from like 1 month to 2 plus. I think the minimum is late November. Obviously, that really hurts, but they're very deep on wing. In fact, they're very deep overall. Starting with the forward group, they're starting to come into their own. And the Cousins trade was larceny for me, with Norris now injured again. I know it sounds a little mean, but it's not meant to be. They've got 3 really solid lines, and 4 once Chucky is back. So if players like Batherson, Pinto, Gregg start hitting their own, this could be a really dangerous club. On defense, they got a solid mix of transporters and stay-at-home D. Spence was a nice little pickup from the Kings there. The Senators are going to be a very curious team to watch. In goal is probably the biggest question mark, right? Allmark, the $8 million something man, will he deliver? Can he be healthy? I think the most games he's ever played was around 44, if I'm not mistaken. Can he play more than that? Because his backup was at Mary Lenin? I'm butchering that, I know. Not on purpose, though. Now, Mary Lenin was really good in 12 starts last year, but is he ready for more than that? And can Allmark find his gear earlier in the season as opposed to mid? The X factor, I've already mentioned it. It's Allmark's health and his mental game. No surprises there. And can he play 50 plus games this season? In 2nd, I have my beloved Toronto Maple Leafs. The Hockey News ranked them in 3rd. Injuries right now, Lawton looks like he's out till about late October, so not too long. And then there's Joseph Woll. He's out for personal reasons. My worry with him is he's missed a lot of training camp and so on. When he does come back, can he hit the ground running? The forward group it's pretty deep, even though they lost Mitch Marner. Probably deeper than it was before. He is an amazing player. I realize that, but they gained Waugh, Dakota Joshua, Maselli, and Cowan, who's come up from the minors. I'm getting this they could be good, but not into the playoffs kind of vibe. Or they'll just fall flat on their butt, not score enough, and not even make the playoffs. I know, I've got them ranked in second. I was the one who told you, right? On defense, they're full of playoff vets now, but are they too slow? Their puck transporters in Riley and OEL are not really good enough. If there's any big trade to be coming, if it's not a winger to play, with Matthews and Nyes, for instance, I think it might be a puck-moving defenseman. In goal, this should be a strength, and it is with Stolarz, certainly. But how durable is he? There will always be that question mark. Can he play at least 40 games, which he never has before? And how will Wall be after coming back from his personal leave of absence? He's proven he's got the pedigree, even though he's had some hiccups here and there. The X factor. You could say a couple things here, but the first thing is Auston Matthews. Can he regain his goal-scoring form? But I think the real X factor here, and they're sort of tied together, obviously, is the power play. Oh my God, how long have we been talking about someone who can run this? And, Mitch Marner had some faults, but that 5-forward unit, having him in the D spot and sort of running everything from above, worked out half decently. My thing is, Riley, if he hasn't done anything after about a dozen games or so, you got to move on. You need some more passers in that lineup. Like, get Maselli on there, or Domi, or even Cowan. Who do you pull out? For me, it's Riley, but you might argue either one of JT or Nyes. I'd probably say JT, but I'd rather number 44. And ranked first, of course, I have the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Hockey News has them ranked in second. Now, injury-wise, Nick Paul is out until about early November here, and Gergeson's depth forward will be back in late October. From the forward group, 5 of their top 6 are arguably Olympians / four-nation players, right? With the exception of Kucherov, because Russia can't play, but he's obviously maybe their best player overall, so you can't deny him that. They were first in goals for last year. And Gensel has another year under his belt. I know Cirelli and Hagel had career years. Can they do it again? That trade for Gord and Bjorkstrand from Seattle was helpful. They pulled in Holmberg from Toronto. Looks like they have him slotted on the third line. Maybe he's bumped down to the fourth once Nick Paul comes back. Holmberg is really good against the wall, getting players the puck. But when it comes to shooting, he might as well use a brick for a stick. On defense, they're pretty decent, but they could use an upgrade there for the playoffs. Maybe especially on the right side with Hedman. Although they usually just put like a bandage next to him. Maybe an old garbage truck, a broken down boat. He drives that first bearing. One of the big things that changed from him last year, of course, was getting McDonough back in the loop and playing with Cernak for a great shutdown pair, which you could take Hedman away from those tough minutes. Goaltending. Vasilevsky had that surgery. He came back. He wasn't that good, but after a year away from that operation, he bounced back. This year, I know he's had a bit of a slow start, but I doubt that will last too long. My bigger question net here is the backup. Johansson, can he be any good and play like over 20 games so that Vasilevsky isn't overextended? He's getting up there in age now, and if you want this guy to perform and be healthy for the playoffs, you need to take a little load off his shoulders. The X factor here is very hard to pinpoint, but I'm going to say one of them could be Cirelli and Hagel. Like I mentioned, can they have another year like they did last season? Can Gensel continue to produce at a high rate? Because we all know Kuch and Hedman and probably Vasilevsky should be carrying most of the mail. There you have it. Those are my Atlantic Division predictions. But for those of you who skipped to the end of this video, here are my 1 through 8 Atlantic Division predictions. Buffalo is coming for your lunch money. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And if you'd like to support me and my channel, you can do that through my crowdfunding page called Buy Me a Coffee. You can make a one-time donation or donate as little as $1 a month. Thanks again, and please remember to be excellent to each other. Enjoy the season.